Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I hope you all are doing great. Okay, so let's start this video. In the last video, we discussed about the basics concepts of SSL Remote Access VPN, where we just discuss about the traffic flow, how does user send the request to the firewall, and firewall just check its own local database whether the user does exist in the directory or not. So based on that, it will accept or reject the user request to establish the tunnel. In this video, we are going to perform a practical task in our VMware lab environment where this user one will try to send the request to the firewall, where firewall will check whether the user does exist or not. If it does, then the request would be accepted and the tunnel would be established between the firewall and the VPN client machine. So let me navigate you to the lab environment. I have set up the lab environment where this machine 172.16.01 is the Windows 7 machine which I have deployed in the lab environment, and this is by Sophos Firewall, which is also deployed in the VMware environment. And I have another user which is located somewhere in the cloud, and in that user machine Sophos Connect client would be used as a VPN client. So here is the Sophos Connect client I have already installed on this machine, where we will use this Connect client to establish the tunnel with the firewall. If you have not watched my previous video yet, I will provide the link in the video description, so you can refer that link to watch my previous video so that you will get the idea what we discussed in that video. And in this video we will do some practical of SSL VPN configuration. So let me navigate you to the Sophos firewall. Okay, so let me consider few points before configuring SSL Remote Access VPN. So make sure a few of the settings you must know so that you will not have to face any issue. The first thing is that we are going to use the SSL VPN. So make sure SSL VPN service should be enabled for the WAN zone, because whenever the user will try to establish the tunnel, the request would come on the WAN port. So make sure SSL VPN service should be enabled for the WAN zone. So how to check that? Just go to the administration, then the device access. Here you will get the list of all the services that firewall maintaining or holding. So in this case, we are going to implement the SSL VPN. So SSL VPN service we can see is available for the different zones. So our request is coming on the WAN zone. So make sure SSL VPN service should be enabled for the WAN zone. So at the moment, this service is showing as unchecked. So you just need to check this option and click apply. Alright, so we have enabled the SSL VPN service for the WAN zone. So let's move to the remote access VPN, where we will configure SSL remote access VPN configuration. In this window, we have an option to add a VPN policy, but before that, let me guide you the basic settings of, the global SSL VPN settings. So basically, these settings just provide us some information: which protocol do you want to use, what certificate do you want to use, and override host name, port number. So we are doing some basic configuration, so I will just consider rest of the configuration in the later videos. But how to perform the basic setup, we just need to consider the port number. Here we are using port number 8443. You can also customize this port and configure it as per your requirement. And in the next section, we are having the option for the IPv4 addresses, where this particular subnet would be used to assign the IP addresses to all the VPN clients. For example, your tunnel has been successfully established to the firewall. So once the tunnel is established, your machine will get the IP address. So that IP address would come from this subnet range 10.81. So this is customizable. You can also configure it as per your requirement. And this is all about the SSL VPN global settings. And one more important point is that if you do any modification in the SSL VPN global settings, make sure you will have to re-import the configuration. Otherwise, if you have already downloaded this configuration in the past and you do some modification in this section and apply, your VPN client will not hold that updated configuration. So that is the reason if you do any modification in the SSL VPN global settings, make sure you are downloading the new configuration from the VPN portal and re-import it, so that your client must have the latest configuration as per this configuration of SSL VPN global settings. All right, let's start the configuration. Just click Add, configure manually, define any name. In the policy member section, you will have to select all those users to whom you want to give the VPN access. So currently I have already defined a user one. If you want to learn how to add them, I will also show you that. But for the timing, we are selecting user one. This user will have the access to the VPN now. Then after, it is asking about the permitted network resources. So which network you want to give the access to this user. So our DMZ network is 172 series as per the network diagram. So this would be the user and this would be our DMZ network, and we want to give the access to this network. So our network would be 172 series that I have already defined here. Once the policy members and the permitted networks are defined, just click apply. So our policy has been created successfully. Our next step is to download the configuration from the VPN portal. For example, if our VPN user is located in the cloud and he wants to access the VPN, so he will have to download the configuration first on on his machine, so that after having that configuration, he can connect to the firewall and establish the tunnel. So my this machine is located in the cloud section where I have already downloaded this configuration. So let me remove this one so that I can demonstrate you how to import it. This is our VPN portal. Here we define the user credentials. So our user is user one, and let's define the password. Okay, so once you have the access to the VPN portal, here we need to download the Sophos Connect client. If you don't have the Connect client software, you can download it from here, download for Windows. And if you are using Mac OS, you can select this option for the Mac. After getting this Sophos Connect client, you will have to download the configuration. So we are using Sophos Connect client. We will select this option, download for Windows, Mac OS and Linux. So our file has been successfully downloaded. Just open this. So here you might be noticed we just simply clicked on that file and it automatically uploaded or imported in the Sophos Connect client. Just click on connect, define the username user1 and its password, click on sign in. So our VPN has been successfully connected to the Sophos firewall and the tunnel is also established. Once the VPN is connected, you can confirm its IP address using the command prompt. Okay, so here we have received the IP address of 10.81 network, that is 10.81.0.2, and make sure you are checking this IP, and same IP we can confirm it from the firewall. Just navigate to current activities where you will get the option of live users. Here we can see that the username is showing as user1, client type is SSL VPN, and host type is the same one that we have received on our local VPN machine. Let's consider our next requirement where we want to give the VPN access to user 2, but we don't have the user 2 in our firewall records. So what will we do? Just navigate to authentication section, select the option users, and here you will have to define the user first. Here we have defined the username 2, define the password that user 2 will use. In the email section, you can define its email address. In the group section, you can select any group. If you have created a separate group for the SSL VPN, you can select that. Otherwise, you may select the open group here. And whatever the policies have been applied to the open group, that same policy would be selected for this particular user too. And this is the main section for the VPN. Under the user SSL VPN policy, here you will have to select the policy name. So we created a SSL VPN policy named as test. So select the test and then save it. Okay, so we have created another user named as user2, and on the same machine I will import its setting, its username and password. So currently we are connected using the user1 credentials. Now I will show you how to download the configuration file for the user portal 2. It would be same as we did for the user1, but the main parameters were to select the SSL VPN policy for the same user that you are creating, and if you want to allow them the VPN access. So just navigate to VPN portal, log out, and here just type the user s2. So now we have logged into the VPN portal using the username user2 credentials. On the same machine, I am downloading the configuration for the username user2. Configuration downloaded successfully. Just click on it. The file would be automatically prompted. And if you are not sure whether the file has been imported or not, or is it using this previous one, just delete the previous one for the time being. And how to check or import it manually, just open the folder where this file has been downloaded. This was my previous user one profile configuration, and this is the latest one which we just recently downloaded. So double click on it, you will get the CLI prompt for a second, and after double clicking on it, your file would be imported successfully. Here you can see. This is the second method. And the third method is, here you will get the option to import the connection. Just click on it. A new window will be opened, and here we can see that it is showing all those configuration files that we have downloaded from the VPN portal. Just select that file, click open, your file would be imported here. Now click connect, define the user2, its credentials. Our user2 has been successfully connected to the firewall, and now he can access the local resources. And same you can verify from the firewall under the current activities, live users, and here we can see username user2 is showing and its IP address is this one. This is the first part where it is showing the live users, but you can also confirm it remote users tab option. In the remote users tab, we can see which VPN users have been logged in. So here we have a username user2 and its public IP address. And this is the IP address that has been assigned to that VPN client machine. There is one more important factor. So in this case, we can see we are downloaded all the configurations from the VPN portal, but make sure your VPN portal should also be enabled in the device access settings, because if the user is located somewhere in the WAN zone but you don't have given the access to the VPN portal for the WAN zone, so then you would not be able to access that portal from the WAN side. So make sure that VPN portal service should be enabled for the WAN zone. Let's see what happens if I disable this option, VPN portal for the WAN zone. So if you will uncheck this option, you will not be able to access the VPN from the outside network. See, I have logged into the VPN portal using the public IP address of this firewall. Okay, so now we are getting this error message because we have unchecked that VPN portal option for the WAN zone. So whatever the traffic that will come on the WAN zone interface for this particular port 443, it will not give the access. Let me check this option. Click apply. Now we have re-enabled this VPN portal for the WAN zone. Let's refresh the web page again. See, we have got the VPN portal. There is one more important setting. So we can see that we are accessing the VPN portal just only by defining the public IP address. But by default, it is using the port number 443. That is why we didn't define any port in the URL. And if you will check our firewall web console, we have typed the local IP address, but its port number 4444. But in the case of VPN portal, we are not defining any port number 443 because HTTPS protocol is working on the same port number by default, and that is the reason we are using only the public IP address only. And under the admin and user settings, you will get the option port it is using for the VPN portal, and you can also change this port as per your requirement, but by default this is the port that it is using. We have performed this VPN configuration in our lab environment on firewall firmware version 20, but if you are using version 18 or 19, in that case you will not get the option of VPN portal. You can download the configuration for all the users from the user port only. In version 18 and 19, we can download the VPN configuration from the user portal. But in case of version 20, this part has been segregated from the user portal and has been introduced in the VPN portal. So if you are looking for the VPN configuration file, so make sure if you are using version 20, you will get this option. You can get that VPN configuration from the VPN portal only. But in case if you are using older versions like version 18 or 19, you can download the VPN configuration file from the user portal. So as per our network diagram, we have successfully established the tunnel between the firewall and the VPN client machine. So our next requirement is we just want to give the access to the user. We want to provide the access to user 1 so that he can access the local resources. So what we need to consider, we need to create a VPN policy so that once the tunnel is established for the user 1, he can access the local resource, that is 172.16.02.2. So currently I am connected to the VPN. Now I want to access the local resource 172.16.0.2. So just ping that IP and see whether are we able to access it or not. So in this case, we can see that we are trying to reach out to this 0.2 IP, but we are getting RTOs. So it means there is something wrong in our configuration. So how to check that? If you are not able to reach this local resource via the VPN tunnel, so make sure you have a route. But before, there is one more step that you need to consider. Just perform the trace route for that destination IP where you want to reach, and use this command traceroute -d and the destination IP address and run it. So with the help of this command, we can see that our traffic is passing via the VPN tunnel whose IP address is this one, 1081.0.1. So it means that we are able to reach to the firewall, but from firewall ahead we are not able to reach this particular destination 0.2 IP. So let's navigate to the diagnostic centers, packet capture, configure your destination IP address, or you can also type your VPN client machine IP, because from that machine IP we are not able to reach, and we are using ICMP traffic or the ping traffic to reach out to the destination. For that we will use the protocol ICMP. After defining this filter, just enable it. Once the filter is enabled, initiate the traffic again. We are still getting RTOs. It means we are not able to reach to the destination, but as per the trace routes output, we are able to reach to the firewall. So just refresh it, and here we can see that our request is coming from 10.81.0.2 IP with this keyword as incoming, and this is the main interface tunnel 0. So this entire line indicates that our traffic is coming via the in interface tunnel 0 from the source IP 81.0.2 for the destination 172.16.0.2, and this is our incoming traffic. So what is happening to this traffic? This traffic is being forwarded to which machine, or via which out interface? It is going out via the port C, which is our DMZ zone. So if you will refer our network diagram again, this is the request coming via this port B, but once the tunnel is established, so tunnel interface would be considered as tunnel 0, and it is going out via port C. and same thing is reflecting here. Incoming is showing as channel 0, but outgoing interface is showing as port C, and here is the status. It is showing as forwarding. It means firewall is forwarding the traffic to the destination using the rule ID number 6. So now let's check the status of rule ID number 6, what we have defined in this rule ID. This rule has been created for VPN to DMZ zone, where we have defined the SSL network 10.81.0 series, and the destination network is any, but still we are not getting any response. So it means somewhere in the Windows 7 machine is blocking the request. So first let's check. In the Windows 7 machine, we are having 172.16.0.2 IP address, as we can see here, but we are not able to ping it, and no traffic is being received. All right, so as we can see that we are trying to ping this destination IP 172.16.0.2, but here we are getting request timeout messages even though we have configured everything correctly. So there is one more point that we need to consider here. Make sure wherever your destination is deployed, so the ping service, make sure wherever the destination network or machine is defined, the ping service should be enabled there. So our network is defined in the DMZ zone, but here we can see that the ping service is not enabled, and that is the reason in the capture we can see that the traffic is showing as forwarding, but we are not getting any ping response. So just check this option for the DMZ, then click apply. Once it is enabled, after enabling the VPN service for the DMZ zone, here we can see that we are getting the ping response. Let me show you live. In this video, we have learned how to configure SSL Remote Access VPN and what points we need to consider. As we saw that we were not able to reach to the destination even though ping service was enabled. So make sure the service should be enabled, and if we are not getting the ping response, and instead of that getting request time or messages, make sure VPN service should be enabled for the DMZ zone. You can note down all these steps by just pausing the video, whatever the steps that we have taken by configuring this SSL VPN configuration, as well as while performing the troubleshooting. And in addition to that, I will also include all those steps or the main points in the video description so that you can note it down from there and implement in our real lifetime scenario or while performing the troubleshooting. I hope this video found helpful, and in case if you have any query in this regard, just drop a comment. I will definitely answer all of your queries. If you really like this video, just hit the like button and subscribe the channel to get more informative content. And in the next video, I will try to cover the more important topics related to the firewall configuration. And stay tuned for the next video, and have a great day. Take care. Goodbye.